Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Jane's Fighters Anthology. It's actually been a while since I've done any recording. I've been busy traveling for work and working overtime and such, so hopefully we can get right back into the swing of things, get things happening on schedule again. That's why some of my videos have been posted late, but in any case, oops, wrong button there. Last time, or rather, last week, we would have gone on a anti-surface mission against Chinese frigates that were attempting to attack ships supporting troops around the coastline. And we also went on a seed mission in advance of a sort of a combat air patrol of sorts of Comanche helicopters that were looking to destroy Chinese vehicles on the ground. So now let's see what task we have today. Dark Night. Nikolaevka Air Base, date July 7th, local time, 0100 hours, weather clear. Situation: Chinese recently deployed a squadron of Su-27 interceptors to the former Russian air base at Vazvenka. These aircraft have tallied a number of kills against Allied close air support aircraft operating over the front. Mission objective: our objective is to temporarily shut down the Vazvenka air base. F-16s and F-22s will force the enemy fighters to scramble. Your mission is to perform a surgical strike on a small number of air control assets at the base. Threat suppression data: ground opposition, probable SA-3s and ZSU-23-4s, air opposition, Su-27s. Alright, so it looks like we're taking off from Nikolai's, and then it seems we'll be landing up to the north here? I don't know. These waypoints are kind of a mess, but oh no, we're just coming back here. Alright. Yeah, so this should be a pretty cut and dried mission. Although, you know, while it would be great to take out these GCI assets, I have a better idea. What if we took out the whole airbase? Okay. So, can I page down for that? Oh, works on that. That might. Oh no, darn it. I really wish I could use the keyboard for this, but oh well. So we're going to take a 60% fuel load, just lighten us up a bit. I mean, that's, you know, tens of thousands of pounds of fuel we don't need to carry around. So, you know, I'm not expecting this thing to dogfight or anything, but I'd like to be able to climb and dive a little bit faster, since that may very well be essential to our survival. And even 60% is excessive. I could probably do with like a 30% fuel load. Actually, let's just take 100,000 pounds. Flat. There we go, 55%. As for bombs, see, that gives us. We don't have the dualies. I was really hoping we would have the bombs available to us that, you know, like those 3 packs and such that we've used in the past, but oh well. If this is the case, how many would fit in? Oh, just 4 regardless. Okay, yeah, then we're definitely taking this. So we'll take care of those ground control assets, but we'll also make sure there's no runway for those flankers to land on and no hangars for them to park into. So that, let's jump in. And our first order of business, as always, is to climb. They had us coming in real low, it looks like. We're at 2,000 feet, so we have a fair bit of climbing ahead of us.
Waypoint Bravo, bearing 270, maintain.
We do see there's a lot of friendly air assets in the area. Whether they'll actually give us cover, I don't know. Because, well, they don't have a great track record with giving us cover for these missions, but probably reduce the IR just to 45 miles. So, basically the plan is to carpet bomb this airfield from 50 or 60,000 feet up. So, should be a relatively simple mission. It's a pity we can't have our wingman out. Because the way the AI works is I think he would only drop one bomb at a time, first of all. But then he would dive down this, like, 10,000 feet or lower and drop it, so... Which would immediately put him in the kill zone of these fighters.
York 1 o'clock high, 1-4 miles, please advise.
Alright, we got some of the good dogfight music because we've got hostile air contacts. Alright. Let's, vertical here. I mean, it's only at 30
Contact,
degrees.
stand in two-ship formation, York 12 o'clock, 1-3 miles.
Orders
please
are
advise.
to evade. To get up to at least 20,000 feet, that should do us, if they're facing away, which they are. Alright. So we still have 25 miles to go until we get to the airfield. Let's try to line up a bit here. We do see on our RWR we have hostile radar sites on the ground pinging us. They can't see us yet, but they're there. Probably SAM sites, AAA, you know, the usual assortment of stuff we don't like. Alright, so we're at 20,000.
Contact, multiple bandits, York 11 o'clock slow, 1-4 miles.
Oh, we have a flight of F-4Gs. I guess they're coming in to suppress the SAM sites, maybe? But, between the, what they be, J11s, J14s, I gotta look that up, because I forget. But, with all between them, the flankers, and then the F5s, which I still don't understand why they gave the Chinese F5s when they don't have them. They should just be J7s. But between all that stuff, yeah, those F4Gs are toast without any sort of allied air support, which, of course, we are in absolutely no position to give them. So, fuel, we have just under 100,000 pounds, so, I mean, we're golden on the fuel front. Course correct a little bit. Almost to 30,000 feet. We probably won't be able to pick these guys up on the IR. That might be a little bit challenging, so we'll be bombing visually here. Because just with the altitude we're at and the way the mechanics work in-game, it's going to be real difficult for us to pick that up. Alright, so we're at 30,000 feet, and we're going to keep on climbing. Because I do not want to get anywhere near the deck with these fighters around. And I did a little research, and it turns out at least, like, the airfield will show up in the bomb site at high altitude, so... Okay, let's improve our IR resolution, bring it down to 10 nautical miles. And course correct 1 degree to starboard. Got our wingman sitting pretty with us, doing nothing, but looking good. That's what we pay him for, though, so that's alright. Correct 1 degree to starboard again. There we go. And definitely seeing a lot of hostiles down there. A slight trim to starboard. Oh. these are angled, and we probably need more speed to keep aloft at these altitudes because of the thinner air. The F4Gs are still alive, surprisingly. Alright, so probably advance time a little bit here. There we go. Okay, they're getting mauled now. The base is 10 miles out. Oh yeah, there's a lot. And we're actually starting to get picked up by ground missiles. Oh, there is that. Are you on the ground? You are. So there's our reference. Oh. Drop, drop, drop!
On the way.
Fuel.
On the way. On the way. On the way.
Alright, so 64 500-pound bombs are now inbound to that airfield. I wasn't expecting to have to drop for another mile, but again, we're so high up. Look at that cloud of bombs just itching. We're so high up, the explosions aren't even rendering.
Contact, bandit, your 4 o'clock flow, 6 miles. Please advise. We have a fireball. Multiple hits. Good hit. Splash 1, flanker. History! He's taking damage.
Alright, so we're gonna have to make another pass. But I think
bandit, your 5 o'clock flow, 7 miles.
I think we just have to hit the guy in the center. So we're going to put some distance. Hey, F-22s are here. Alright. Looks like they've pretty much cleared out the...
Contact, Sam, your 6 o'clock flow, 9 miles.
Okay, we no longer have radar threat emitter. If we zoom out, do we get it back? Oh, there are still fighters in the area. So we do have to be advised of that. But we are now 15 miles back, so I think we can start circling around again. And worst comes to worst, hopefully the F-22s can take out the flankers, and then we can just send our wingman in to bomb stuff, because he certainly has more than enough payload. Alright. Just kind of corkscrewing down a little bit here. Let's drop a little in altitude so that way I have a little more heads up next time, because we were like 7 or 8 miles out when we had to drop the bombs. Are we picking up anything on air to ground?
12 miles.
Close enough. I just need the bomb sight on there.
Approach target.
Alright. Should be coming up on the airfield any second now. Especially at this altitude and
9
speed.
miles.
Make our second pass and hope we hit something good.
9 miles.
Oh, there we go. let's hope it hits, because I'm out.
8 miles.
There we go. We got the 2,000 pounders coming in now to finish the job. The wind is certainly going to knock some of them off course, and especially at this altitude, even if there was no wind, just the slight variances between each bomb would probably make them go off course a little bit. Oh, that might be another bunker we have to hit. But we'll get to that if we have to.
Sam, you're 2 o'clock slow.
Oh, that was already destroyed. That was a waste. Hey, we got a AAA though. Alright, we did what we needed to do. We are going home, because we are Winchester. Blue 1 Winchester RTB. And it looks like the Raptors are still on patrol, so hopefully taking out some of that AAA and the SAM sites will help them as they mop up any aircraft that we missed on the ground. But at this point, I think we can just dive down. Yep, looks like they took no or almost no losses. They can't have lost more than one, and yet they took out probably a good dozen aircraft. So even in AI hands, you know, the F-22 is a very powerful adversary that you do not want to be on the wrong side of the battlefield on. Alright, so we're gonna come down to maybe 10,000 feet, and then we'll start leveling out. There we go. Start heading in the right direction. Yeah, we could have definitely taken like 50,000 pounds of fuel, and certainly I think the B-2 is a lot more maneuverable when it's not carrying an intercontinental fuel load. And especially now we should be noticing a difference, because that's, let's see, I don't have my calculator on me, but whatever 64 times 500 is, plus 8 times 2,000, well, that's 16,000 pounds for those bombs right there, which is like the, that's like the payload of most, or maybe like a few thousand pounds shy of the payload of most modern fighters, as well as a lot of World War II bombers. Like, I think the B-17 was like only 8 or 12,000. I think it's some ridiculously low number. You have more with the B-24 and the B-29, obviously, but actually, it's really interesting that the payloads of most modern strike fighters meets or exceeds that of World War II heavy and strategic bombers. Just shows to go how far we've come in aviation since the olden days. Oh, yeah, of course, but that's fine. We'll just head straight to the landing approach here. No need to divert if there's no aircraft in the air. And certainly, there's not much in the way of ground radars that can still be tracking us at this point. Speed things up a little bit here. $12,000. Get some throttle on. Alright, now I'm getting a little disoriented because not really sure what's ground here, but we should be on our landing approach. Let's just quick pulse with our air-to-ground radar. I believe this is the airfield we'll be looking to land at. 7,000 feet, that should be fine. Probably bring it, there we go, now we can see trees, okay. Still easier than landing in fog. 30% throttle. Should be doing okay. Now let's start coming in. We overshot a little bit. That'll be fine though. Now stuff's starting to come into visual range. I think we're slow enough we can bring the gear down.
We're almost home.
Bring the throttle down even further. How are we doing on speed? 187 knots. I don't know what this big guy stall speed is. Like, maybe there's a reference somewhere, because that would certainly be useful for this kind of stuff. But there we go. I think we're at a point now where let's throttle up a little bit.
7 knots.
Come in. Okay, come on. Alright. In a way, it's almost easier to land the bombers because you got the bomb sight to kind of to tell you when you're over the runway or not. Okay, so we have successfully touched down. Our gear didn't collapse on landing. I was a little worried about that. I was afraid we might have been coming in a bit fast, but seems to have not been an issue. Try to slow our roll here a little bit so we can make our turn. All right. Now we're turning pretty fast. Probably give her a little throttle, a little juice just to keep us rolling. You see me rolling, hey, trying to catch me riding dirty. All right, so back in safe Russian hands. As weird as that sounds, given how Russia is the usual opponent in this game, this campaign is kind of a twist. It actually reminds me of a Tom Clancy novel. Was it The Bear and the Dragon, I think it's called, where it was basically a setup similar to this, where I don't know if that's the same universe as the Tom Clancy novel where NATO and Russia goes to war. I forget the name of that one, but basically NATO and Russia go to war. Russia scores some early successes, but then gets their ass kicked. And then we're starting to approach the Russian border, and then, you know, they have internal dissent, and they were about to use nukes, and then some generals were like, hey, let's not use nukes, because that'll just lead to nuclear war. And then they end up capitulating to NATO. I'm not sure if that Bear and the Dragon takes place in the same time frame, but I do know it involved things like there were Nighthawks that made I think it was like Nighthawks that made a strike on the Chinese nuclear arsenal to keep that from being used in the conflict, so that way we could intervene freely and stuff. But kind of the same setup here, where, you know, we're helping Russia. There we go. Now we can watch our wingman come in. Marvelous landing there, wingman. Except I can't see it because the freaking hangar got in the way. Alright, so he'll taxi him. I like how this bomb view is, like, we can see, like, it's the camera for the bomb view is above us because we can see the hangar. We should just see tarmac. It's kind of weird, so that's apparently adjust. That's so weird. Like, I know the camera adjusts a bit depending on, you know, your velocity, your altitude, because that's going to change how far the bombs fall. But this is just completely wrong. I think it's just centered above us. Is he taking off again? He's taking off again. Alright, so we're just going to end here then. Debrief. Dekhlevka Air Base. Date July 7th. Mission Dark Knight. Resolution success. Nice work eliminating the targets. So there are only 3 targets. I think it was just that, might have been that, like, bunker with the compost in the center, but we ended up destroying 2 fighters on the ground, 1 SAM site, 2 AAAs, 1 vehicle, probably like a truck or something, 8 structures, and then probably some poor infantrymen who thought it was a nice night for a walk. So 79% hit our bomb. That airfield is out of commission, and I don't feel bad about taking it out because the odds are we won't be recapturing it anytime soon. I imagine the Chinese are going to push a little further before we can start taking back ground. So, you know, by the time they have it repaired, it'll be ready for us to take back. At least that's my theory. So we'll just do some maintenance on the B2. With that, that'll conclude our mission for today. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for next time. We'll see you then.